I haven't struggled in the past with anxiety or depression or anything like that. So it was really weird that it came on so suddenly. Sweating, high heart rate, just the feeling of doom and death and stuff like that. So
Living Better podcast.
What's up, y'all? It's Ryan Morimoto here, and this is the show, Living Better. Say goodbye to anxiety, stress, and the pains of life, and welcome to a happier and healthier you. And today, we have Customer Appreciation Day, and I have my friend Roy here. Roy, can you say hi, introduce yourself, and maybe give a little bit of background of who you are, please?
yeah, my name is Roy. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and yeah, I've just kind of been struggling lately with some anxiety, but been just incredibly better since using MAGU. So I'm super excited to kind of chat with you and
Yeah.
kind of get to know the product too as well, just a little bit more. Because yeah, all I have has been the website. So
Of course. Feel free to ask any questions along the way. And to get started, I kind of want to give people a little bit of, background of what was going on in your life, before you tried Magu, right? Like maybe what were kind of some of the stresses or anxieties, and just kind of can you give people like a lay of the land of what your life was like?
yeah, so I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm a field service manager for a bank. Not too much stress. I have a great girlfriend of 7 years. We're gonna get married hopefully this year, and so yeah, there wasn't a whole lot, and I haven't in my life, I haven't struggled in the past with anxiety or depression or anything like that. So it was really weird that it came on so suddenly, and it has more to do with something that I've been recently diagnosed with, which is something called a pheochromocytoma. It's a tumor of your adrenal gland. And so what can happen is when it gets stimulated, the tumor, it releases hormones and causes what you normally would experience for the different symptoms of an anxiety attack. So, sweating, high heart rate, just the feeling of doom and death and stuff like that. So with that coming on, something that I haven't experienced before, that hits me, and then I would spiral out of control with that, because it's like a panic attack, and then I'd have a panic attack because of that, because of the symptoms. And so I end up in the hospital the last couple months, twice. I landed in urgent care just because I'm like, this is the time that it's going to go. This
Wow.
is this is when my heart's going to stop, or this is when I'm going to have problems. So that's kind of my story on how that developed into this anxiety, and to a point where I kind of became debilitated. I wouldn't go to the grocery store because I never knew when these attacks were going to come on. And again, it wasn't necessarily anxiety stemmed from something or somebody. It was or trigger, or stress in my life. It was an actual medical condition that would cause me to have these symptoms, and then I would have an anxiety attack on top of the symptoms, which would be really bad. So yeah, that's where this started from.
That sounds tough, man. Like not only having that condition, but then it spurs other things, right? Because you're having a panic attack, and then you stress out about that, and it just makes the problem worse. And so, you mentioned a couple of things that I heard there, right? Like not being able to go to the grocery store. So like how is it kind of showing up for you, affecting you or those around you? Like, one thing, like an example for that I noticed, right, for myself is like when I get extra stressed, I have like a shorter bandwidth of how much emotion I can take before I, freak out, and it kind of like would burden my fiance, and things like that. So for you, you mentioned the grocery store. How is that kind of showing up for you, and maybe even the people around you?
Yeah, so because I'm a field service manager for an IT department of a bank, I have to travel around both on airplane and car. And I've had to stop. I took a month off of work. I had all this sick time that I accrued. I never really took a sick day of ever, just from work, from years, because I just not very sick. I peg myself as a healthy person that eats healthy, exercises, does all the thing, right weight, right cholesterol, labs are good. So this is really weird for me to have anxiety, and so yeah, it made me debilitated. I couldn't drive because I'd drive for a little bit, and then if one of these attacks happened, my anxiety would just crush me. I'd have to pull over. I would be, like just wondering where the nearest hospital was. I mean, it was just like this crushing thing. And it sort of came on like it stopped being just because of the attacks. Anxiety just started taking over my life. And then I just started getting panic attacks, not because of the adrenal issues, but because I was just starting to have anxiety. In your mind, you start racing, right? When you start getting these symptoms, you're like, okay, I'm going to have a heart attack. Okay, this is going to be the time I'm dying. I'm not close to a hospital. Or my girlfriend's not in the car to take over driving, and now I'm in this traffic, and so your mind races and races and races, and it just started to compound over the last couple of months, and it made me so that I couldn't function. I mean, I could barely leave my house. But I'd even start having panic attacks just sitting at home watching movies. If it was a violent movie or something that was really action or stimulated based, I'd still just start having panic attacks, and it was just so frustrating because again, it's not something I ever suffered with, so it was super weird.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That sounds
Yeah.
really tough. Pretty much showing up in every aspect of life, and we've heard some similar stories of how it could show up in the car, just sitting at home, like you said, just doing a leisure activity. And for you, right? You saw MAGU. Maybe can you share with people like how you came across MAGU, and if you were what were the things you were most concerned about before starting MAGU?
Yeah, so in the past, I've done, I've had gummies. I live in Oregon, so it's free, or it's not free. It's legal here to have, marijuana type gummies. So I've had those in the past, and so I was a little concerned on just like, okay, is this something that's going to give me like a high feeling, right, or something? Because I'm like, I need to function, I need to drive. So I know it was based on hemp, and I know the website sort of talks about, the high feeling. So that was the main concern. Where I found it originally was it was an ad on Facebook, talking about anxiety. In fact, there's a couple different products that I was getting marketed to. I've done marketing before, so I understand how it all works. But when you're searching anxiety, it starts to show up. So I tried like two other ones. There was a gummy out there that was like an anti-anxiety gummy. I also tried ashwagandha to see if that would calm me. I've done 5-HTP in the past. I've done other, supplements to things like that. So, but I mean, when you're desperate, when anxiety takes over your life, you'll try anything, and especially, a website that has a guarantee. If it doesn't work for you, let us know. We'll give you money back. So I'm just like, all right, I'll just try anything that I can. And when I went to the website, though, I was just really surprised how you guys had extracted that hemp, the right. And I should have probably like read just a little bit more right before the call, but
It's all
there's a
good.
specialized process that only you guys do, right? And a
Right.
lot of people don't do, it always intrigues me when companies have that claim, and you do the research and you read about it and you understand it, and I think that's incredible what you guys have done to extract what you need out of that hemp, versus just taking, like a hemp or a CBD gummy, right? It's not the same. You guys have a very proprietary product.
Yeah, thanks for touching on that, and just to hit that a little bit, like you said, for a lot of people who've probably seen CBD gummies or tried them, they're just taking one component of that plant, right? The CBD or whatever, putting some flavor. It's like a vitamin C gummy, right? You're just injecting vitamin C into a gummy, and that's just one component. But if you have a full orange, that's kind of what we have, is that full plant. So there's multiple vitamins, multiple, terpenes in an orange, multiple beneficial properties. And same thing with hemp. There's multiple parts of the plant, and we're not just taking one component, but the whole thing. So I appreciate you giving us that shout out. And so, like you mentioned, some people are nervous or wondering, does it get you high? It doesn't. There's a lot of products out there, like you said, that are being marketed all the time. And I guess for you, what was kind of the thing that help break the camel's back to make that decision to like try MAGU, right? Like with all these different things out there, like you mentioned, like what was it for you that kind of pushed you over that edge?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the research that you had behind it, and then that specialized process that you're talking about. I was like, I want to give this a shot. It was, I mean, it's priced, reasonably, but I think it's higher. It's on the higher end for some people, to be able to do a 2 week span for the price that it is. But and we'll get into this. I'm sure you'll ask about the feelings and everything else later, but I think it's worth it. I mean, been an incredible journey so far, and relief, since taking it. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could jump into that now. So like how are you feeling now? Can you like walk people through kind of like day by day or how things progressed for you over time, how long you took it and like what it kind of felt like along the way?
Yeah, yeah, which is like, I mean, that's the magical component of it. So that's what I was excited to talk about the most. I think, day one, I think there is, for me, everyone's body is going to be different and reaction is going to be different. But for me, day one, you do get, I feel like, a slight highish feeling for like a very short period of time. There's like an initial like hit of like, oh, this feels different, like it's a head rush, not nothing that nothing that was like scary or hallucinogenic. I'm not talking about that because I've done again gummies before, so it's not like that. But I will say there's an initial feeling that I get both times that I've not taken it, and then for a week at a time, and then taken it. So day one, I wouldn't say everything's magically better day one by any means, but um, it is progressively and increasingly greater every single day that I've taken it, and it does take both times for me to be able to just function almost at 100%. It's taken about 5 to 7 days before, because I was off of it. I thought I was all better. I just thought anxiety went away. I was like, I didn't know whether MAGU was, whether this was a placebo effect. And like I mentioned to you guys before, I sent a text and or in my review, I was like, I've if placebo worked for me, it would work for me, but it just doesn't. Nothing that I've tried, it either works or it doesn't. And MAGU 100% worked. And it took me the second go around, that second week of not being on it and starting it again and realizing, yes, by day 6, I'm able to function back to normal. I'm able to drive again. I was able, I mean, like fully. I mean, sometimes I feel like these anxiety solutions will take weeks and on end to get to a point where you'll be able to do that. But I'm
Right.
like, I'm back to normal. And like, that's why I'm so passionate about MAGU, because like I would not be able to function like, and even yesterday, I have a hobby. It's kind of a weird thing. I like to ride around on electric unicycles, and it's a hobby
Cool.
of mine. And I've missed it for the last 2 months because I'm just worried about dizziness and all the symptoms and having a panic attack while I'm riding. It's a balance thing, and if you don't balance well, you fall. So I just went around yesterday for an hour after 2 months and being able to enjoy my hobby again, which again, it's just amazing. It's incredible.
That brings joy to my heart that you're able to do your hobby again. And to clarify for the people, just to make sure we got this right. You did do it for a while, noticed the benefits, and then you thought you're cured, so you stopped for like a week or so, noticed the anxiety and stuff came back, and then you tried it again and things got better again. Is that right? Or
Yeah. So I started, you get a 2 week thing, right? So I had a 2 week, I ordered a 2 week deal. I did a week of it. And then when I kind of found out some of the results for what I was having, like a pheochromocytoma, I was a little worried on taking something, like when you go to a doctor's office, they ask you, what are you taking? Well, I'm taking, B12 supplement, I'm taking vitamin D. And then I got this MAGU thing and they're like, so they, they don't know, right, what it's about and what you're doing it for. So I kind of stopped just because I was like, maybe that could be like have, a problem if it's interacting with anything. And I'm sure you guys, I don't know if you said that it doesn't seem to interact with any medication that I'm currently on. So, and I'm on steroids for autoimmune issues and stuff like that. So anyways, I did take it for a week. Uh, and things were getting better. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm just handling anxiety better. Maybe this disease, I'm like getting the hang of the feelings and the symptoms. So I was like, okay, I'll just stop, taking it because I don't really know if it's helping at all. I didn't think anything of it. And then progressively through that week, I started having all these anxiety, the attacks, and I didn't know whether it was anxiety or not. That's the thing, it's like you don't know. You always want to blame it on this physical thing that you have. So then by week 2, I was like, I can't function again. I can't drive. I can't do anything. So I was like, I have to try MAGU. And I actually flew to Arizona for work. And during that flight, I had like a 3 hour like anxiety attack. And it was like the worst ever. I was like so exhausted by the time I got back to the airport, and I couldn't drive to the hotel. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to take, and I had my MAGU with me, and I started taking it that week. And by midweek, I was back at work. I was in the office in Arizona, and I was just stoked. And then And then the best part is like, I just fear flying now because I know that I'm going to have this anxiety attack, and a 3 hour anxiety attack is terrible. For anyone who's gone through 15 minutes anxiety, 3 hours is awful.
Yeah.
And so I was super worried about it. And I mean, that was me being worried. I was terrified of getting on this plane going back, and I made it all the way through the flight, no issue. And that was me like almost trying to cause myself to have an anxiety attack because I'm worried about this flight. And I mean, MAGU, I mean, it got me through. I was watching TV, and I did explain too, like it almost is there, and I've only been on it a week now, almost 2 weeks now. But it's like anxiety is there still, but you can just like kind of watch it from a distance. It's like, no, you sit over there. I'll let you be here, but I'm not going to let you affect me. And that's like the feeling that I get. And that's pretty incredible to like almost have control of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that, you were able to get back to your hobbies. Glad it helped with your flights and kind of pushing that anxiety not so much in the forefront of every day. And, there's no magic cure all be all for everything, but being able to like manage it, especially with other activities, can really help manage that anxiety. And so are things kind of like getting closer back to normal, or how's like life for you now?
Yeah, I mean, I still have the adrenal attacks, and when I have them, I know what they are. I know how to work through them, and I don't have an anxiety attack on top of it because when that happens, I spiral and it's bad. So I'm pretty thankful now, that I have it, that I have MAGU. Like I said, I'm on week 2. I've done 3 weeks total, right? But the first week I did it for like 7 days. I gave up on it, or I thought, I'm good. I don't need it. Because as much as I would love to take things, I also am trying to be all natural as much as I can in life. I don't take Advil for a headache. I just sleep and drink water, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it's like I don't want to be on something, but like, one, I'm not worried about MAGU. MAGU is natural and incredible, and what you guys have done is awesome. But two, yeah, now I'm on week 2. I would say I'm about 95% back to like a normal life. I think there's still a little bit. I get that feeling of anxiety. I know it's coming on, but it's just so manageable. I don't really think about it that much. Like it's there. Like at least I know what the feeling of it is, and I can just ignore it. But like I couldn't ignore it without MAGU.
Right.
It hit me, and there's nothing I could do. It's just like I'm out of control. So it's been a lifesaver. Honestly, I it saved my life. It saved my job. It saved my hobbies and, sanity of my girlfriend dealing with all these anxiety attacks and everything. So yeah, thank you so much for what a great company and product.
Yeah, man, that warms that really gives, that means a lot to me that we were able to help you get close to, back to pretty much normal life. So that's really awesome to hear you're able to do everything fun and get back with your girlfriend and do things. So, there are people out there who might be sitting on the fence, right? Like, I'm not sure if I should try this. This might not be for me. What would you tell someone who's sitting on the fence, maybe a bit unsure if they should try MAGU or not?
One, you guys have a guarantee. That's awesome. And that's just like right up in front, like you don't have anything to lose. It's not going to, it's not heavy Western medicine drugs. And that was the other big thing is I've been on them. I've been on Ativan. I've been on Boostbrone. I've been on Valium. I tried some of these things that the doctors were giving me because there's like, when by the third time I went to the hospital, like they're like, dude, you're fine. Your labs are great. Like, stop coming in here. you're wasting your money. You're wasting time. I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you got to focus on your mental health. So I was like, whatever, give me whatever. Even though I hate taking, Western medicine, especially those drugs are so heavy and dependency is huge. Um, you know, MAGU, the one thing if I have to say about it is it's dry, trying to get it down sometimes gets caught in your, a little bit in your throat and it's scratchy. And so, but it's like, so it's not the only reason I say that is because like, I don't think of dependency when I think of MAGU versus like some of these other heavy, really bad drugs like, Valium and, Boostbrone and Serlitine and some of these like really crazy meds that can be really problematic. And if you stop taking it, you could really tank and you could potentially die. Some of them because of the dependencies you have on it. So if you're used to taking those drugs or being dependent on those drugs, I would just highly recommend MAGU, because I don't look forward to taking it every day, right? So I know I'm not dependent on it. Because it is, it's just dry. I wish there was almost like a better way to take it, but it's not that bad. I mean, I just got to get better at swishing water around and then swallowing it. But it doesn't bother me. I just, it's not something that's addictive. It's something that you will want to take every day so that you can get through what you're going through. And I understand I have the biggest and most empathetic heart and compassionate heart for anyone suffering from anxiety. Nobody understands what it's like until you have it, and how and it ruins your life.
Right.
So try it, give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. It's not going to affect you in any bad way. It's not going to, this is a natural product. Comparatively to the Western medicine out there, it's 100 times better. I can only imagine, the science behind it, but a lot
Yeah.
more natural, a lot better.
Right. Appreciate that. You touched on a lot there. And, there's people with different types of situations, life, personalities, ailments. We're all unique, many different types of people out there. Based on your experience and kind of like what like, what would you say, like, what type of people do you think could most benefit from Magu?
Yeah, I think the people that are focused on, healing instead of necessarily just taking like a pill. Because I think so much of what our lifestyles become, on the Western medicine front is like, you have this issue, here's this pill, take it. It's not focusing on like the true whole plant healing, or just natural remedies and things like that. And natural remedies have a bad rap. I mean, they just do, because they just, we have this idea that they don't work as good as Western medicine does, right? Like natural deodorants, one of the things out there. It's like, yeah, of course, aluminum and deodorant's going to work better, but like, is that what you want pegging into your body? Heavy metals and Alzheimer's and things that stem from that. These heavy drugs can really manipulate and cause permanent damage. And so, yeah, as far as going the natural route, I always recommend that. I think we need to start focusing on the things that already exist. The cure for everything, already exists. It's in plants, and it's just something that we need to like accept and try and give some credit to.
Yeah. Well, Roy, thank you so much for your opinion and time. Any last things you'd share with the community and audience?
Yeah, I mean, thanks again so much for a great product. You never know when you see ads on Facebook and things like that. And so I think, the universe just kind of aligned me with the right product at the right time. And that's huge. And I really commend your mission and your product. And I know this took a lot, as this is recent 2023. It looks like, said established on the box, your packaging, everything from the experience of getting the little sticker I can peel off and put on my little card, just it's all just a great, and you can tell that it's represented by people that care, not about the bottom line, but about the end, the customer, the experience and journey. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, Roy. That touched me deeply. And this will conclude today's episode. Drop any comments below, have any questions or thoughts. Share this with a friend that you may think is beneficial. Subscribe for more like this. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you.